Imagine a world not ruled by us, but by titans. A world where mammoths marched across endless frozen plains, their tusks like ivory scythes cutting the horizon. Where saber-toothed cats stalked herds of towering bison through forests of ancient pines. Where armadillos the size of cars, glyptodons, clanked like walking fortresses across grasslands. Just 12,000 years ago, this was not a fantasy. It was Earth. Then, they were gone. In the blink of an evolutionary eye, the greatest creatures of the Ice Age vanished forever. A silence fell where thunderous footfalls once shook the ground. Why? Was it the hand of nature? Or ours? Tonight we step back into that world, the last kingdom of giants, to uncover the day the megafauna died. The Ice Age was not a frozen wasteland. It was a living, breathing kingdom. From the grasslands of North America to the Siberian steppe, the planet pulsed with life. Here roamed the mastodons, ancient cousins of elephants, chewing through forests of spruce. The towering, woolly mammoths carved pathways in the snow that lasted for centuries. Predators matched their size. The legendary saber-toothed cats, fangs like daggers. The massive, short-faced bears, towering over any human who dared cross their path. South America had its own titans, the gentle, colossal giant ground sloths, standing as tall as houses. The armored glyptodons rolled like tanks across the pampas, and everywhere, flocks of towering terror birds and herds of bison shaped landscapes we can barely imagine today. This was Earth before we claimed it, a planet ruled not by us, but by giants. It didn't happen with a bang. There was no single day when the giants fell. The extinction crept in like frost in the night. At first, the herds thinned. Fewer tracks in the snow. A silence settling over valleys once filled with trumpets and roars. From North America to Australia, species after species began to vanish. The fossil record tells the story. Populations plummeting in just a few thousand years. For creatures that had survived millions of winters, something had changed. Well, what was it? The climate was shifting. The Ice Age thawing, ecosystems collapsing. At the same time, a new predator had entered their world. Us. Scientists sift through bones and soil, searching for clues, and the evidence whispers the same chilling truth. This wasn't nature's slow hand. This was a sudden break, an ending. When the last mammoths walked the earth, they were not alone. A new predator had spread across every continent. Us. For hundreds of thousands of years, these giants had no reason to fear small, thin creatures carrying sharpened sticks. But this was not the old world. We were not hunting to survive. We were thinking, planning, coordinating. And when our kind arrived, the megafauna began to vanish. Archaeologists find the clues everywhere. Stone spear points embedded in mammoth bones. Kill sites where entire herds were butchered in a single season. Evidence of mass hunts. Organized slaughter that the animals had no defense against. Was it overhunting? Was it simply the meeting of two worlds that could never coexist? Or were we just the last pressure on species already weakened by climate change? The question still divides scientists, but one thing is certain. The story of the megafauna is not just their story, it is ours. Because when they died, it was by our hand or under our shadow. At the end of the last ice age, the Earth itself shifted beneath the feet of giants. The ice sheets began to retreat. Rivers swelled into torrents. Forests reclaimed the tundra. For millions of years, these animals had adapted to cold. Now, the world they knew was melting away. The mammoths lost the frozen plains that fed them. The saber-toothed cats lost their prey as herds scattered and starved. Entire food chains cracked under the weight of a warming world. It wasn't just temperature, it was transformation. Grasslands turned to bogs, hunting grounds became swamps, habitats shrank into isolated pockets, cutting populations off until they collapsed under their own fragility. Some scientists argue that climate alone was enough to kill the giants. Others say it only set the stage for their final encounter with us. Either way, when the ice melted, the age of titans began to drown with it. When the last giant fell, the earth went quiet. The tundra no longer thundered under mammoth feet. The forests no longer trembled at the roar of the saber-tooth. Their absence reshaped the planet. Without mammoths tearing up frozen ground, entire ecosystems shifted. Grasslands became forests. Rivers changed course. Even the climate itself may have bent under the loss of their weight, but their shadows linger. In frozen Siberian soil, mammoth tusks still glisten like ivory ghosts. In South American caves, claw marks of giant sloths stretch toward the ceiling as if reaching for a vanished sky. And we can't help but ask, what if they had survived? What would a world shared with these titans look like? Would cities be built beside mammoth migration routes? Would we walk among armored glyptodons in modern grasslands? The echoes of the lost whisper a haunting truth. Extinction isn't just about the past. It is a story that still shapes our present and our future. When we study the fall of the megafauna, we are not just digging into the past, we are holding up a mirror. Because today, a sixth mass extinction is already underway. Species vanish every single day, not in ancient forests or icy steppes, but in our own backyards. Rainforests burn, oceans empty. Habitats fragment under the weight of our cities. The megafauna never saw it coming, but we do. Their story warns us. The line between survival and extinction can be razor thin, and once it's crossed, it's irreversible. Scientists call it the Pleistocene lesson. It's simple and terrifying. If giants that ruled the Earth for millions of years could vanish in a few thousand, what chance do we have if we don't change the story now? Imagine a world where the colossal giants of the prehistoric past, the towering sauropods, the fearsome theropods, or the giant flightless birds like the moa were to return to Earth. Advances in genetic science, cloning, and de-extinction technologies have brought us to the brink of such possibilities. But what would their return mean for the fragile balance of modern ecosystems, human society, and the planet's future? Scientists today are decoding ancient DNA from fossils and permafrost, piecing together fragments of long-lost genomes. While true resurrection of extinct giants remains beyond our current reach, the rapid progress in CRISPR gene editing and synthetic biology opens doors once thought purely science fiction. Could we reintroduce giant herbivores to restore ecological functions lost for millions of years? Would their presence reshape landscapes, influence climate, or reignite primal fears and fascination in human culture? And what ethical dilemmas arise when we attempt to play gods with life forms from Earth's deep past? This final chapter asks not just if we could bring giants back, but whether we should. The ghosts of the giants still echo through time, and perhaps one day they may walk among us once again.